Let's get this party started. Woo! Look at that label. It's ooh. Where the hell did that label come from? OMG. Now these broker guys are coming to us, right, with these wines. You know, it's like darts on a dartboard, right? So it's kind of like, they'll bring us like 20 wines, and then 10 of them will, 5 of them will be like, and 3 more will be like, and then 2 will be like, Well, this wine is one of the most wines I've ever tasted in this lineup. Absolutely stunning bottle of Merlot from, of all places, Mendocino. Who knew? I had no idea. No expectations for this wine. So first of all, I saw the label, and of course, a big heavy bottle, but oh my gosh, who doesn't put their wine in a 5-pound bottle anymore? No, he poured the wine, and I was like, wow, stuff's dark. Wow, good color, good. It's like, whoa, mulberry, spices, cocoa dust, black cherry thing. I'm like, wow, this is Merlot. I tasted it. Creamy texture, gorgeous, glossy, bling French wood. This is like full on, like cult wine good. I'm not kidding. So I'm like, dude, this is like crazy cult wine good. What is this? And so he tells me the story of these 2 partners, Manuel Gotera and Bentley Luneau, and they started up this property as one of their dream properties. They bought this parcel up in Mendocino, and it was just, they researched a few properties, and as they said, they weren't snobs. They weren't necessarily into Napa and Sonoma per se. And this property in Mendocino just appealed to them. So they purchased the property. They were really fortunate that it was loaded with a bunch of like almost 50-year-old vine Zinfandel, as well as 30-year-old vine Merlot, which in the north coast of California, it's a bit like the dodo bird, especially post sideways. Everyone's like, ooh, Merlot, grip it, rip it. There's a lot of Merlot in the ground, but used specifically mostly nowadays for making these kind of Bordeaux-inspired blends. Okay, so the fact that these guys had 30-year-old vine Merlot, beautiful, boom, right, great vineyard site in Mendocino County. Good on them, good on them. So they made this purchase, got this fabulous vineyard, and then they kind of lucked out a bit, because what happened is they decided to make the wine. They were both professionals working in San Francisco at the time. So it was like their weekend thing. Drive out to Mendocino, weed, prune, da-da-da-da. The amazing, awesome, bucolic vigneron experience. Well, so what they found is they found a place called Crush Pad in San Francisco where they could make the wine. At the time, one of the main guys at Crush Pad, the head winemaker guy, the consultant in charge, was a guy named Kian Tavakoli. And that might be a name, that might not be an everyday name for you, in the world of if you're familiar with a lot of the hot Napa winemakers right now, the Philippe Melkas and the Heidi Barretts and the Andy Ericksons and all these cats. This guy, actually, he's a little secret. He spent 4 or 5 years at Clos du Val, and then spent a lot of time at Opus One. And so over 13 years, he basically honed his skills working at 2 of the bigger, more intense Napa Valley Napa Valley winemaking concerns. So fabulous experience. And then from there, he turned that into this job at Crush Pad. And at Crush Pad, he was making micro-production wines for a number of small top producers like Perry Moore and a lot of these other guys that were utilizing fruit from the best vineyards in the valley. So Kian got to work with Beckstoffer Tokalon, Dr. Crane, George III, Missouri Hopper. Think of your bling 100-point vineyard, and Kian has made wine from it. An amazing wealth of information in this cat, an amazing resource to produce your home brew. Unbelievable. And you could tell that Kian had a really marked interest in this wine. It is absolutely stunning for the, I'm not going to say for the money, but it is just absolutely stunning Merlot. I personally like Merlot. Chateau Petrus, the most expensive Bordeaux, 100% Merlot. Merlot is a good thing when it's done right. And the Mendielle Vertu 2007 Reserve Merlot is done right. So in the end, let's think about this. 2007, great vintage. The wine's got 4 or 5 years of bottle age, ready to go. Made by one of the top kind of unheralded winemakers in the Napa Valley. And this is a wine that rolled a $52 retail, if I'm not mistaken, originally. And I think it's yours for 20 bucks, something like that. That's pretty stupid. And you know what? The wine is worth every dollar of the 50 bucks. You know, if someone came to me with this at that price, 2 years ago, the way this wine's tasting with the story behind the label, I'd kind of say, whoa, I'm in. Too cool. By the way, the label made by a gentleman, an artist by name Rafał Olbinski. I actually kind of like the label, not just because it's provocative, but because it's actually a cool picture. It's a shot of the Masked Ball opera. The theme. He does a lot of opera-based portraits and art. And this one is actually from an opera called The Masked Ball by Giuseppe Verdi. And it's like a serious piece of art. This guy's a rock star. So, serious art, controversy, great wine, bottle age. Problem is what? None. Cheers. We bought this vineyard and we want to make some wine and truck our grapes somewhere. And you truck your grapes somewhere, and then boom, you put your grapes in the hand of a guy that basically, made the Clos de Vol Reserve wines and helped make Opus One for like a decade, and has worked with every great vineyard in Napa Valley. I mean, that's what? How lucky were these cats?